Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cafetalk, and thank you for joining us. I'm here as always with my co-host Jolen Reed, the fabulous, the one and only, the magnificent bearded fellow, my friend Jolen. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I know like we do a podcast every week and stuff, but
Yeah.
this week the gap between our last podcast, episode 17, and this one
Mm-hmm.
just felt like longer than a week.
It really did, no lie, it actually did.
Maybe it's because we changed
understand.
our recording day. Like we usually record on Wednesdays, but today's a
Friday.
rainy Friday
yeah.
day in LA.
Oh, it's such a good weather day today.
Yeah, dude, LA's been like colder than usual this past like 2 weeks.
It really has. Like winter hit us late, really late, or not winter, but I guess because it's spring already. But like the cold weather hit us really late, but it hit us hard.
Yeah,
Like, man, you can see your breath when you go outside and stuff like that. And what was it like a month ago? It was so hot that you're still a little sweating when you just go
Yep.
outside. It's crazy.
Yep. Though, like, I woke up this morning and I realized it was raining because
Mhm.
I did not hear the rain last night.
Me neither. I actually just didn't hear. Was it supposed to be raining last night?
My dad said he was, and he works graveyard shift.
I took my mom to work at like 1 a.m, and it was barely starting to like sprinkle down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was gonna get worse. I just kind of thought it was gonna stay that way.
Yeah.
But I apparently got more and more.
But yeah, I woke up this morning. I figured out it started raining, and I made myself a cup of tea. And like, in my mind, the only song I wanted to hear that would like set the morning
Yeah.
was like "Sunday Morning" by Maroon 5.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
What? It's such a good song.
I don't doubt I've
'Cause,
heard it. I just don't remember.
It was back in the day when Maroon 5 was still a mixture between like pop and jazz.
Yeah. Oh,
So they like the song starts with like the whole jazz drum snare setup
Yeah.
where he's like
Nice. Yeah.
and then the piano kicks in
Uh-huh.
and then he just starts singing. He's like, Sunday morning rain is falling.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember it now. Yes.
Steal some cover, share
I didn't think that was Maroon
skin.
5 though.
That's Maroon
I
5.
thought that was kind of like what's his name? Fucking Michael Bublé or
Nah,
or
Michael
Jason
Bublé only
Mraz?
comes out during Christmas time.
They wake him up.
They like let him out of the cage after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and they're like, "All right, Michael, you're up."
They poke him with like a kettle like stunner and they're like, all right, Michael, do your thing.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's funny.
it's sad, but it's true.
I kind of thought it was like Jason Mraz, one of those like really romantic singers. You know, that's why.
I don't blame you. Like a lot of Maroon 5's early stuff,
Yeah.
was a little bit jazzy, a little bit pop like.
No, I understand.
But yeah, it definitely had like a heavy, like light jazz influence.
I mean, compared to like Edward and the other guys that I talk about music with, you're the only one I know that actually knows about Maroon 5 songs, other than myself. I'm a huge follower of their popular songs. You know,
Oh, I see.
like She Will Be Loved or This Love Itself. What's the other one? I have like 10 songs in my library. I can't even remember right now. Moves Like Jagger. Those songs that like got
Okay.
the top charts, and they're really like catchy. Those are the songs that I have in my stock of Maroon 5. But I don't know. I never dive deeper into like the artists.
You said a lot of like artists, a lot of their early stuff, like say, take like their first album. Their first album usually like really goes to what they stand for, what they speak,
Uh-huh.
like how they want to be remembered as an artist. And then their second album is usually when they'll make it big,
Oh, I see.
or like even the third album.
Yeah.
I'm using Logic as an example because his first album, like Under Pressure,
Mm-hmm.
you can really tell like the style of music that he wants to make, like what he was
Yeah.
going for and stuff. But then a lot of people really discovered him when The Incredible True Story came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he just made that one because he was like, yo, I want to make an album about space.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made it, and it's a really good album.
Yeah, a lot of people loved it.
And then he made Bobby Tarantino because he was like, I want to see if I can make a trap album, and he did.
Yeah. I remember that.
Or a
album.
trap mixtape, according to Edward, because albums and mixtapes are different.
Yeah, I know.
Edward's really anal about that.
Yeah,
shit.
I hear that there's like a lot of albums are actually mixtapes, and I'm just like, I don't know. I myself
But
would just see
yeah.
them
And then
as
his
albums,
newest
like,
one,
whatever.
Everybody, like it's again, it's really good.
I don't think I've heard his newest one.
Yeah,
which
you
one?
have.
Which one is it? What
That's the
songs
one
does it
where
have?
that's the 1-800 suicide hotline one.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Anxiety that we talked about.
Yeah,
in
the
our
one with like
episode 10.
the portrait, the artwork
Yeah,
as
yeah.
the album cover. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
right
remember
now
that
he
one.
only has 4 albums out.
I didn't think that. What was the name of it?
Everybody.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the name.
Oh
I thought
yeah,
that was just the name of the
escaped.
song or something.
Well, he has a song called Everybody.
Yeah, I thought that was just the name of the song. I didn't think it was like the actual album name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But
understand
yeah,
what
like
you
same
mean.
with Maroon 5. I don't know what their first album was, but they really hit it big with I think it was
Songs of Maria, isn't there, or something?
yeah,
like that?
something like that.
Yeah.
That's the album that like
Songs of Jane or some
there
songs
you
of a
go.
girl.
It's Songs of Jane.
Yeah, that's the one where like a lot of people recognize their songs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a little bit about music. Every time it rains, like in LA or wherever I'm at, I always think about Sunday morning.
So the song I always go to give me like a tropical feeling, like when you're at the beach or a rainy like day, rainy lazy day where you just want to stay indoors and enjoy the weather, is actually Billionaire by Travis McCoy. You know, featuring Bruno Mars. That I don't know why it just has such a soothing tone to it that I love. It just takes me to a place that like I relax the most, my happy place, I guess.
I get you. A lot of like tropical feeling songs that like people will play at like tiki bars and whatever, they actually like give me nausea.
Yeah, me too. Like it
I don't
doesn't
like
feel. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be there. I don't know. Or they're trying too hard. That's
yeah,
what
exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
Anyways, moving things along, we're late to the hype train as always.
With what?
What was it, Monday or Tuesday?
With what?
Where we saw the Black Panther.
Oh yeah, that was Tuesday, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were a week late on that.
The movie was great, but like our preparation to go see the movie was like horrible. It was a shit show.
Yeah,
we could not organize the time, and we both weren't feeling the day, so we were just pissed off. It was bad.
We went not on our best time, but it was still a fun experience. It was still a great movie. I guess the overhype got me because I was expecting it to be way better than it really was.
I don't know. I saw the lineup, like the cast lineup. There were some roles that, like, obviously, I was surprised at how good they took it.
Yeah.
And then there were some that I thought were lacking a little bit, but overall, they had a really strong cast.
Like, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Like his. That's one of the overhypeness that I got. Everybody was talking about how good he was, how amazing and stunning his like performance was, and he really blew up because of the movie. You know, his performance in the movie. So I was hoping to see like something revolutionary to his character. When I saw it, it was just it was exactly how the character was portrayed in the comics. So it was kind of a letdown because it wasn't anything mind blowing to him.
Yeah.
He really made me believe he was Warmonger. That was the deal of it, right? But the way people kept like hyping it and talking about him was like, you know what, this is the performance of a lifetime. This is the performance that's gonna get him to like the top and change like your life forever. And I didn't have that at all. Like I didn't feel
no.
that
If
way.
anything, like I'm all right. Whatever. Just to set the stage, set the grounds. I'm really bad with actors' names.
Okay.
All right. Like if I can't remember an actor's name, it's not because I don't care about them or anything. It's just I really don't take the time to learn celebrities' names because it's like they don't affect my personal life. Why should I? You know, whatever.
Yeah, I have a lot of actors that are the same way for me too.
Yeah, there are some that stick out, like Michael B. Jordan and fucking Tom Cruise. But Tom Cruise is like world renowned.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's like the first thing that pops up in my mind. Don't judge me.
I was
All right, comment down below if you want to spread shade.
Lincoln before they would pay me to drive a Lincoln.
That's Matthew McConaughey.
It's all right.
Anyways, the main actor, the one who portrayed the Black Panther.
What is his name?
I don't know.
Let's search that up.
Yeah. Anyways, him. I thought
yeah.
his performance was a lot better. Like in the whole cast, his performance in the movie.
Boseman.
There you go. His performance in the movie was the best by far.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he really made you like believe that that there was this struggle that comes along with like passing the torch to the next generation.
Especially
like he didn't know how to deal with becoming the king of Wakanda, of like what role or what direction his monarchy should take. Like, that really spoke out to me, and I feel like he did a really good job.
Yep.
I kind of expected more from Michael B. Jordan, like, the same reasons, just because of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. But honestly, like, I don't think that was his best performance in the movie. Like, when I think of Michael B. Jordan, I think of him in Creed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
As like Apollo's son.
Yep.
He was really good in that movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
Like, really good.
Actually, like, another person I really want to talk about is Forrest Whitaker, the guy that the guy that with the
priest
staff,
the priest?
the priest, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so his performance was great. Like, I loved it. Like, it actually caught me by surprise because I didn't think I was gonna, connect or at least just feel sympathy for the character as much as I did.
Yeah.
But I guess it also emphasizes on how good of a performance Boseman did, because when he died, spoiler alerts.
Yeah, I'll put a spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers.
Sorry
like that.
To just this part.
But for Forrest Whitaker, his character dies because Michael B. Jordan, Warmonger, kills him, and that instant when he kills him, he wasn't really a main character. He was just there from the beginning, so you saw him.
He's just a supporting character.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't feel much sympathy for him until Black Panther himself came up to him like crying, like, this is the guy that like helped raise me, and he's been with me my whole life. He's my dad's best friend. So when he actually died, he actually felt really bad for him. He was really sorry, and I was like, the performance of both those characters or those actors really blew me away. I really liked that scene because I actually felt sad watching him die. In other movies you see supporting characters die and you're just like, oh well, that's how things go. Whatever. It's gonna improve the main character's personality because of his death. But this time I actually felt really sad for him dying, and I was just like, wow.
I agree with you. His performance was really good. I really got attached to that character.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A character that I felt like they should have rewrote or spent more time writing was the sister.
Yeah.
Like, the two jokes that broke the fourth wall were horrible.
The what are those jokes?
Yeah.
The what are those jokes? And which was the other one?
I forgot. She has two of them. I know that she has.
I feel like it's in the throne room area, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, whatever.
Forgot,
like, the main joke
the
is like the what are
mm-hmm.
those jokes when she points out the sandals.
Yeah.
I just don't like that.
It felt really forced.
Yeah.
It felt like they were desperately trying to add a little comedy.
A lot about her character just felt really forced. Like, I don't know if she just didn't feel comfortable playing like the sister role, like trying to do the comedic relief in the movie, but I felt like it wasn't a good fit.
Yeah, because they try to make her into the comedic relief, giving her like those little jokes, and then on top of that, they like give her this role of like sadness when
no, they also give her like the really important role of being like the
sidekick.
Basically the sidekick, or like the overwatching guardian.
Yeah, like the Oracle to Batman.
There you go. Yeah, they give her that really important role where she's supposed to like be the problem solver, like point the Black Panther into the right direction. But then like mixing all those roles together of being like the Oracle, of being the comedic relief, of being the little sister, like that just messed her character up.
It really did. Yeah, I agree. Just like with Warmonger said in the movie, like the leading technician in developing technology in Wakanda is led by a little girl, and it really stuck with me on that. The fact that like it really felt like she was a little girl and she didn't really deserve to be there, but like they could have focused more on her true intelligence,
true,
like her inventions and how smart she really is. But rather than doing that, they rather focused more on like the strong female like character that she was supposedly going to be, and ruined her character with like some comedy that wasn't supposed to be there at all.
Yeah.
So I understand. I get you around that point.
Yeah. Other than that, all the other actors, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they fit their roles and they did a pretty good job. All the criticism comes from like a place of love. Definitely. We admire the comics. We admire the movies. Like we just wanted the movie to be the best that it could be.
Yeah. So I mean, none of this criticism is actually like deterring from the fact that it was a great movie. It's just minor stuff that trying to hope for a better movie next time, in the sense of like constructive criticism. It's not a bad movie at all. Like definitely go and take your time to go watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Even if you're not a huge fan of comics, the movie itself is just a great movie in general. One thing, even I myself catch myself telling me it's a stupid fact that I want to point out, because it's those simple stuff, kind of like Lord of the Rings, where if they would have taken the eagle to Mordor, it would have ended the movie, like it would have been half the amount. Was when Black Panther was in the throne room and Warmonger comes in telling everybody that like he has a right to challenge him because he's actually like of royal blood.
Mm-hmm.
That scene could have ended so differently.
But...
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That scene could have ended in a sense where Black Panther could have told the whole council, hey, my dad killed his dad because his dad was smuggling vibranium to the enemy. So, in fact, in turn, he's the enemy. So he has no right to challenge me because, his father did crimes. And he himself decided to, like, be a criminal himself as well.
Yeah.
So that could have ended that way. And, if that would have gone, the movie would have been, like, half over, like, super, super short. So I understand why they continued to, like, the way it did. But, I don't know, I just found that really annoying. That really bothered me when it unfolded. And, again, it's just a little stupid criticism.
No, I get you.
Because it wouldn't be a movie if it actually unfolded that way.
Yeah, so we saw the movie really late to the point where we had the whole theater to ourselves. So we could, like, scream and say whatever we wanted without bothering anybody. Like, while we were watching it, you were just saying, like, you could have just told them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't get you at the time. Like, I didn't want to ask you, like, wait, what do you mean? Because I just would have, like, taken us out of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. You could have just, like, told them, like, there you go. And it would have ended.
Yeah, but it's just a cinematic build of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's no problem. But yeah, overall, great movie. Really enjoyed it.
Definitely. If you had to give it the Victor score, what would it be?
Out of 10, being like the best movie I've ever seen, I would give it like a 6.8, or maybe a 7, just a solid 7. Let's go with a solid 7. It's a great movie. Definitely not a waste of your time. It's a movie that will leave a mark in the cinematic universe, but it's not a revolutionary movie where it like blows everything out of proportion. I feel like if they had the visual effects of Doctor Strange in this movie, it would have been that blown away movie. Like, it would have been revolutionary.
Yeah, Doctor Strange had really good like CG.
Yeah, like the only lacking aspects of that Doctor Strange movie was the story itself. But other than that, the visuals were stunning. Like, you could get lost in just watching it and you couldn't care less what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, fair enough.
But this movie in itself, the story was great. What about you, Jolen? What would you rate it?
I want to give it like a 7. Like a 7.2.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, it definitely deserves, like, if it was a grade, it definitely deserves to be like a passing. But not like a high B or a high
it definitely did not deserve the hype that it got. Like, just like, because what was it, in the beginning, was it the first week, I believe, Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 98%, and I've seen movies that were way better than this one. So that's why I didn't feel like they got
that was my next question, like, leading into that. Like, is there like a 9 out of 10 for you and a 10 out of 10 movie?
Yeah.
Like, that you quickly want to just elaborate on?
Let me see. That's actually really tough.
Because I have my, like, high 9, almost a 10 movie in mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in what genre? Like, in this type of genre? Because most of my, like, 9 or 8 movies, like, really high movies, are, like, coming-of-age stories or really, like... what is it? Story-based driven movies.
Oh, okay,
like for an example, one that's really high up there, that's like a solid 8.7 for me, would be the movie Moonlight. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, I haven't.
So Moonlight is I'm not, without any spoilers. It's a movie about a kid growing up in the ghetto, like in the bad type of neighborhood, without a dad, and his mom is like a drug addict, just struggling with life, and he himself is homosexual. And he doesn't know how to deal with it because, the hood is, like, really against homosexuals. Yeah. So he has to learn that he has to hide it from his friends, but at the same time, he wants to accept who he is. And the movie takes 3 scenes, one from his childhood, one from his teenage years, and one as an adult. And it's a beautiful movie. It shows how he's dealt with all his problems, how he turned out in the end, and the people he met. So it was amazing. Like I was captivated from beginning to end.
All
And
right.
it's one of those movies I highly recommend. But it's a story driven movie. It's no actions in it, or at least not much. Very very little action.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just the story itself. It's like reading a great book. That type of stuff. What about you, Jolen? Like what?
Like
Which ones are your high movies?
the movie that comes to mind that like I would give a solid 9 to was Life of Pi.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I
something
love that
about
movie.
Life of Pi that I really like. Like it explained so much about how like a little kid from an early age just is a blank tablet. Like in the beginning of the movie, that's obviously not what the movie has to deal with, but he explains how like growing up in India, there's this like melting pot of religions, and he basically took part in all these religions, and that scene always stuck to me because I wasn't curious about different religions, but I was curious about like different walks of life, of like why people, like what do other ethnic cultures do differently that my family doesn't do, or like even people within my same diversity do that we don't.
Yeah.
And then the visuals in the movie at the time were like groundbreaking. They were amazing. They were beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
The story itself, it's pretty solid. There's like nothing that I had questioned that I questioned. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like the story was great. Visuals were great. The whole background and like little psychological parts of the movie were great. It's just an overall good movie for me.
I really enjoyed the aspect of like honestly I don't know if spoilers matter at this point for that movie.
Yeah, it was a book before it was a movie, so
yeah,
like,
right?
who cares about spoilers?
I really like the at the end where he gives like a whole pretty much perspective on life. You view life the way you want to see it.
Yeah.
Just the way that the reporters viewed his story, the way they wanted to see it. He told them his truth, but they wanted to believe their own truth. And I feel like that really connects to a lot of religions, where it's like, even though we are very similar in very very different aspects, you believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, we're all the same. That type of stuff. So I really enjoyed that aspect to the movie that it had, and I guess maybe that's why it got a lot of criticism because of the whole religion aspect of it.
Yeah,
but
a lot of movies that deal with religion get that.
Yeah, it's always tough. It's always a tough subject for it to get. But I really enjoyed the movie itself, like you said, the whole tiger and the adventure that he went through just to survive.
Yeah.
It was incredible. But yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Another movie that came to mind recently, I forgot what movie it was. Anyways, let's move on. I remember later some other time,
Right.
but it's not really that important.
So, I had another weird dream.
Oh yeah, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, what was it this time, Jolen?
I dreamt that that like my family and I, we moved to this kind of like middle of the country English inspired town.
Oh really?
Yeah, where like they had like cobblestone streets, and like
beautiful.
the architecture was a little bit older, and there was a bell tower, and like there was like a steam train that passes by in the background with rolling green hills.
Damn.
I dreamt that we moved to like a city like that, and we were in this old ass house. But the community itself was, people who lived in the community came to this consensus that the community would be better and safer if they all joined a hive mind.
Oh what?
Yeah.
There was a being controlling everybody?
I guess, I'm not sure.
Like
They still kind of had their own personalities, but they were like interconnected. So like they didn't really have to speak. They could like
they just
communicate
think everybody
because of the hive mind.
Yeah.
It was like this. It's like the idea of the cloud, but the cloud is like around people's heads. Like you can see like what people are saying, or like you can communicate with them. Like
so pretty much like the concept of a dictator, but if the dictator was in your mind and not actually a strict dictator, it was just more of like someone who kept balance.
Yeah, so that's why I say
Yeah.
like a hive mind,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
everyone's
No, I
kind of
understand.
unified.
But even then, they had their own personalities and they had their
A
own,
little
like-
bit, yeah.
Okay, damn, that's crazy. What?
Yeah, and we
So
were trying
did
to.
you have to?
But like it turns out that
assimilate?
that whole hive mind thing spread to not just humans, but almost like all mammals. So like dogs were part of the hive mind, rats were part of the
What?
hive mind.
So even all the domesticated animals, like cows
Yeah.
and anything like that, they were
Yeah.
part of it.
So like that goes without saying. Like the town was all vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that right
and
now,
then
too.
like the rats and stuff weren't pests and vermin. Like they actually
Help the
I think like
community?
I think they like generated power or something because they would run on little rat wheels.
Yeah, they would take care of all the trash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I could damn.
Right?
That's like a utopia in some sort.
But then we moved there, and then people wanted us to join the hive mind, but we were like, let's like, but we're not sure yet. Like, let's think about it.
Here.
And they were like, yeah, no problem, don't worry about it. But then they were trying to like point out all these great things about being a hive mind.
Yeah.
And then like the fact that you can communicate with your pets and you know what they're saying and stuff. And like we just weren't sure. Like we just moved to the community and we were like just taking in all the beautiful scenery.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was basically my dream. Like nothing really weird happened. I think there was like a this weird like separate hive mind that was trying to take over from like the pre-existing hive mind.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
I mean that in itself is a weird concept,
right?
The whole hive mind thing. I mean, it's like you have to pay for the beauty you're getting, and the payment is that you cut away all privacy.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows exactly what you're thinking and doing.
Pretty much.
Damn. Wow, that's intense. Why would you thinking about that? Would you do it?
Would I join a hive mind?
Yeah. What, like, if you were in that situation, just like in your dream, in real life, would you join a hive mind to get that beautiful scenery and live in peace and harmony?
Probably not.
No, you wouldn't. You want to retain your own individualism?
Yeah, I mean, as boring as I am, boring as I am, I would still want to like retain my own individualism.
Yeah.
Cause then, like, I figured when you join a hive mind, you lose like that part of your mind that's able to create like art and beauty and like admire those kind of things.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't really stand out if everyone's exactly the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and at that point, you lose all your interests. You don't like the same stuff anymore because the hive mind makes you a productive member of like the community itself.
Yeah.
Helping everybody for the better or the worse, whether you like doing it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough choice. Honestly, like, I kind of want to do it because it's pretty much utopia. It's perfect,
Yeah.
but you lose yourself in the process. That's a tough choice.
Yeah, that was my weird dream.
That's very interesting, Jolen. No lie. Wow. Okay.
I just want to go to a town that looks like that with freaking rolling green hills and a steam train in the background.
Me too. I've
like
dreamt of that town like
cobblestone streets and
kind of like you could feel the history in each building itself.
Yeah.
And you just wonder if they're haunted.
No, I don't wonder that.
I do. Speaking of that, just like lightly touch on it. I'm the type of guy that wants to believe that ghosts exist, like there's a life after death sort of stuff, but like I want to investigate it and do stuff about it, but also at the same time I'm kind of hesitant to open that door or that can of worms. You know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid that if I actually go through it, I might not enjoy or like the answers. So in the end, I'm like, I just enjoy it from a distance. I just watch videos and really just not dive into it too deep because I just like the concept of it. I don't really like the whole idea of me being haunted by a ghost or a demon or figuring out that hell is real. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. We're gonna take a pause.
Okay.
Alright.
And now hands in the
That's
air.
recording.
Oh shit.
All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. I had to call. Somebody called me on the phone.
Yeah.
But going back to what you're saying, I don't know. Even like I grew up as a religious kid. Like
Yeah.
I attended church and I was baptized. Went to Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like I never really believed in the concept of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like I'm gonna get some crap about that.
Yeah.
About like, oh, if you don't believe in hell, then you don't believe in heaven. But it's like, why would you believe in something that's like horrible? And like the place that you go if you do something bad in your life and you don't repent and you're like damned for all eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why would you believe in something like that?
I mean, I feel like
I know why people do that. It's so that way like they do right because they're scared of that.
yeah.
But I don't know. Just
No, I feel like I feel like people create their own hell. You know what I mean?
There you
like
go.
like I feel like if by any chance we do have a life after death, right?
Yeah.
Rather than having someone predetermine where you're gonna go, I feel like you're the one that determines where you're gonna go. And if you already go into that mindset that like there is a heaven or there is a hell, and then you somehow like your consciousness, you think about all the bad that you did, and even though you were a good person and you would be someone that does go to hell because you died with that concept in your mind that you were like bad and that you deserve punishment, you get sent to your own personal hell. You get me? Like you like there isn't a connective hell or a connective heaven. It's just like our own consciousness going to another realm, and in that realm we created our own ourselves, and that we can make it whatever we want. But because people are already structured with the idea of heaven and hell, they make their own hell. That type of stuff.
Yeah, that's a fair enough thought.
So it's just I don't know. It's just it's a touchy subject. I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's just interesting. I kind of just like the what is it, the studying the unknown. Mm-hmm. That's why I really find ghosts and stuff like that fascinating, because it's like you can't really explain it. And there's been instances where like even scientists or people, that are very logical and rational, they themselves can explain it, and I enjoy that.
Do you remember back in like the early 2000s when we were a kid and stuff? There were like all these people going to the news and stuff saying that like, oh, we ran this expedition and we found like a piece of Noah's Ark.
No.
Yeah, do you remember that?
No.
They're like all these people saying like we found like like the bow of Noah's Ark, and like I don't know what other religious things, like they found like a piece of the cross that like Jesus was hanged up on.
And then they found like the spear of destiny and stuff like that.
Yeah, like there's like a bunch of these like stories, and I remember seeing this when I was a little kid, and I was like, and I would ask my dad and my mom like, is that true? And they were like, it's probably not true. Like they're probably just saying it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I look back to that now, and I was like, damn, that's such bull.
Like it's simple to fake stories like that,
But there was a lot of those stories in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, I remember them. It's just wow. It's because
just the things that people would run as news. Fucking like I remember there was a story on what was it, like Channel 7 or something, like ABC 7.
Yeah,
where like a news anchor woman or something was like, the battle between good and evil, is evil winning? And I was like why is this news? Somebody just got shot. Someone just got shot and cut a hay, and you're talking about the battle between good and evil. That's something for like the Vatican to focus on.
Yeah, dude. I mean that's why news stations just report anything, man. Anything that's gonna get the ratings rather than the truth. Yeah, we are. Man. I'm glad that we have the information age where we're able to research whatever the fuck people say. That way you could for sure
fact check.
Exactly, fact check them. And that way you don't just blindly believe whatever people are saying.
But people still do blindly believe what they say. Yeah. I mean, I'm no hypocrite. I'm like that too. Like I'll hear something or I'll read an article on the internet and I'll be like, oh, well, you know what, that must be true. And then somebody who actually knows about it, they're like, well, actually, it's like this. And I'm like, well, shoot. Yeah,
like, I mean, you've had many instances where I myself truly believe that something's going to happen or something like, I mean, what is it? We were talking before this podcast. We were talking about a movie movie trailer that I saw, with the Spectacular Spider-Man that they're going to come out. I believe they're actually going to make that movie.
It turns out to be fake,
and it turned out it was fake. So only until I come to you guys and you guys tell me more about it, or I hear something else on the internet that disproves my theory, then that's why you guys just be open-minded and accept the truth.
All right, and then I guess leading into that, is there anything that you've heard or read or seen, like any latest news that you've heard or read or seen? It could be about anything. Like movie, cinema, the world, fucking video games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was reading on like Bill Gates, like letter to the world, or I don't know what it was, Bill and Melinda Gates. I was reading their letter to the world about like the good that we've been doing recently, and it's just news to make you happy, to show that we're like taking a step in the right direction. Yeah. They do it yearly, so that way it shows the progress of that year. And this year, what was it? We reduced like the depletion of the ozone layer by like 10% or so, something like that. It's just like it's not a drastic number, but it was enough to like make you feel good that all the recycling and all the green energy thing that we're doing, it's actually helping. Yeah. So hopefully within like the year 2030 or 2025, the ozone layer could be repaired to the state that it was before, like the whole like smog era and shit. I also saw in the same letter they also stated that the honeybee population was like no longer on a decline. It was actually increasing a bit.
Oh yeah, I read an article about that.
Yeah, so it's just a little happy news that the world isn't as bad as the news makes it seem. There's still some happiness in there, and that like
but it's still pretty bad.
It's still really bad, of course, but again,
it's
just
better.
Yeah, again, it's just a step in the right direction. Like we should. This article isn't just like we could see that we did good and stop. It's actually
it's not like a pat on the back. It's like exactly. A reminder.
Yeah, it's just an encouragement to continue what we're doing and hope for a better future in the end.
Yeah.
So I really like that. What about you, Jolen?
Mine's a little bit car related. Oh, it's all car related.
Uh-huh.
Just because I read a lot of articles about cars and stuff like that. Fine. Apparently, Toyota just created a new engine.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be like the world's most efficient engine.
What?
Like it cuts thermal efficiency down by boosts thermal efficiency up by like 30% or something.
Yeah.
It produces like 20% less carbon emissions per liter compared to like their normal conventional engine.
Wow.
The only drawback is that the engine is capped at 167 horsepower.
Oh, okay.
But I think they're planning on putting these in their new like economy line cars, or like even inside of like as like a piggyback switch to like the Toyota Prius.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very efficient engine.
I mean, by the sound of it, if people that use cars only to like for what is it, everyday purposes, like going to work, or going to like places rather than tuning it up or racing, that sort of stuff. People, every normal day average Joes, if they use that engine, it looks like it will help out a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since you don't really need a higher miles per hour speed.
Like they didn't report like the top speed or the MPG of the engine or anything, but they stated that compared to their normal like 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engines, like it's this much more efficient. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially
ever since like the 90s and the 2000s, Toyota has like been leaning towards creating more efficient cars.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of companies have, like, that was the whole goal, to create more efficient cars.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm using like these cheaper brands or like more reasonably priced brands as examples, because obviously like Ford is creating like these super high performance cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Toyota has been leaning more towards efficient fuel economic cars, and they're kind of like taking the fun out of their cars.
For reliableness.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, I think the only fun car in Toyota is like the GT86. Whereas like Honda, they still try to create like fuel efficient cars, but they're still trying to bring the fun factor in. Because like what is it? They have their whole Civic lineup, which is like the Civic hatchback, the Civic sedan, the Civic Si, and the Civic Type R. They have their Accords, which are really fun to drive, even though like the newest ones, they're whatever. There's like gives and takes about it.
Yeah, of course.
But like I think the one big thing that separates the two is like ever since like 2014 or something.
Yeah.
Or 2012, Toyota like doesn't offer a stick shift Camry anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's only automatic or CVT.
All right. Wait,
and
why
like
is
a lot of pure enthusiasts like give them crap about it.
Does that affect the emissions in any way? Like the stick shifts and stuff?
It used to be that stick shifts would get more mileage.
Yeah.
Just because automatics were really bad in the day. But now you have like 8-speed automatics and stuff. They're like way more efficient than stick shifts are. Like only car enthusiasts like
the feel of actually doing something every
but
turn.
Apparently that's an idea here in America, because a lot of people don't drive stick in America.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the UK and Australia and stuff, like there are more stick shift produced cars.
Yeah, it's more
so the idea of like, oh, he can drive stick shift is like not that impressive in the UK, because it's like my grandma can drive stick shift.
Yeah, it's more of the norm over there. It's like if you really can't drive stick shift, it's just you could tell you weren't raised on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Belief. Yeah, I get that.
That's pretty much it.
I read somewhere where I forgot what company the name was. I know it begins with an N-I. I think it was like Nixon or Nizon or
the glasses company.
Huh?
The ones that make glasses and watches and stuff?
No. It makes cars. That they were making electric cars, and they were going to be the main company that was going to provide electric cars for China, because China was like trying to do this project where they were going to remove all like combustible fuel, and they were just going to go for electric cars. And
that sounds familiar. I think they're that company that like really like sold well on the electric bike or some shit like that. Yeah. I forget what their name is too.
They're the company that bought out Saab. You know, the Swedish company.
I know who you're talking about.
That company. And I found that interesting, just the fact that, you know, they're trying to create a bunch of electric cars, and if it works for the best, you know, maybe we could just like have people that, you know, like again, the average Joe, as I like to call them, hopefully just drive electric cars, and that'll be way better.
Yeah, but the thing with electric cars is like if you're not producing electricity in a fuel efficient and like a sustainable way, then you're not really doing any good.
Really?
Yeah, because you can drive your electric car and stuff, but if the electricity that you're charging your car on comes from like a coal burning factory or like a nuclear plant,
I see what you mean.
It's like you might as well just drive a gas car.
Yeah, that's true.
But like if you have a solar panel or your electricity company like generates their power from water, wind, or sunlight, then yeah, having an electric car like really does reduce your carbon foot.
I mean, I feel like it's a good step in the right direction when it comes to like, you know, the limited resources that we have, you know, or just the fossil fuels that we're using up already.
Yeah.
Because you can already tell that like we're burning through them really quickly to the point where probably like by 2030 we're not gonna have any anymore, and there's gonna be like a huge war on whatever's left. So it's like,
one last thing I wanted to say before we kind of like wrap this up. Like you pointed this out to me like a couple of days ago and stuff, but it's like there's this giant boom ever since like 2012 of like movies that had to deal with the weather.
Yeah, right.
And like the end of the world is gonna be of like this hurricane or like this stuff.
Like two movies I can think of right now is Geostorm and like I think it was called Tornado or something like that.
I think it was like hurricane something.
Or I forgot what it was, but it's literally just that. It's just the weather fucking destroying Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, Geostorm had a better concept because it was like man-made weather, but the other one was like hurricane or something. It was just that. It was just a hurricane. It was just a really bad hurricane. I was just like, okay. I mean, yeah, it's a tragedy, of course. You know, but a lot of people die from that. You know,
it's like my definition. It's like my synopsis of The Mist is like everything's fine and there's a scandal, but then the mist comes in.
Oh man, I love that definition of yours. Where it's like, oh, and then Judy got pregnant, but Tom doesn't want to take care of it, and then the mist rolls in,
and then all hell breaks loose,
and none of that matters. Yep. Oh man, that's great. But yeah, that was about it. You know, what did you want to say about you just saw the increase of movies?
Just that. Like, there's just a bunch of movies that have to deal with the weather. And I think really, like, I know there was a movie about 2012 because that's, like, supposedly when the Mayan calendar ended and the world was supposed to end.
Oh, where, like, the front cover is, like, the Statue of Liberty under ice?
I think that's the day after tomorrow.
Is it the day after tomorrow?
Something like that.
Was 2012. Or is 2012 the one where the planes are crashing and then, like, the LA fault is, like, breaking apart?
Yeah, that's 2012. I think that's 2012.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
But it really started with that, and then now there's just a bunch of these movies that have to deal with the weather, and I'm just like, do people actually go and watch these?
I do not. I feel like they did. I mean, I feel like they did not really well, but just well enough in the box office.
I feel like like movies around 2012 when the whole like Mayan calendar thing was coming to the end.
Made sense.
That was really like when people were interested in it. But now when it's like almost 2020, people are just. I don't know. I don't think there should be a big interest in like weather destroying world.
Yeah, I feel like they just go mainly for the actors.
Or like Earth destroying weather.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, that's our little rant on stuff, and this is the end of Cafe Talk. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Just remember, if you like what you heard, you can always leave a comment down below on any of our opinions. Tell us if we're right. Tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
Tell us if we don't know anything and we're scumbags.
We still love you. Doesn't matter if you treat us bad. We like it.
Exactly. But thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Go check us out on social media.
Definitely. We have an Instagram and a Twitter. Twitter is kind of hard for us, but hey, we'll try to post the best we can.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, thank you guys. Remember to stay beautiful.
Bye.
Bye now.